डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Namaskar. Welcome to Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University. I am Dr. Pratibha Ser. Welcome you in the lecture series of Master of Science Information Technology program at Chaitanya Studio for the subject MCIT 103 Internet and Web Designing. In the previous session, we have discussed about the basic internet terminology such as what is web browser, what is web server, distributed web server, IP addressing and domain name system. So in today's lecture we will be discussing about web hosting, virtual host, multi-homing, document root, cookies, internet service provider and its services, what is static and dynamic website. Let us see what is web hosting. The web hosting is a service which allows the organization and individual to host, or we can say that to post the website onto the internet. A web host or a web hosting service provider is a business that provides the technologies and services that is needed for the website which is to be viewed in the internet, like email services, software services, files, databases and backups. The websites which are hosted or stored on a special computer is called as a server, or we can say web server. When the internet user wants to view the website, they need to type the website addresses into the web browser. Their computer will connect to your that server and the web pages will be delivered to the web browser. The examples of the web hostings are HostGator, GoDaddy, Network Solution and many more web hosting servers are there. However, the web host gives the business owner more than just web hosting services. For example, the web hosting firms typically employ in-house technicians to make sure that their clients are up and running 24/7. Plus, when the website owners are in need of any help or troubleshooting, the web host in-house supports are always available. A professional web hosting service ensures the hassle-free experience for the business owner, so they can efficiently focus their time and efforts on their business. Now let us see what are the types of web hosting services. There are different types of web hosting services are available, right? So these have been mentioned in this slide, right? The first one, that is the shared web hosting, in which single server, web server is basically used to host the multiple websites, right? So this is called as a shared web hosting. Then next one is the virtual private server, VPS, or we can say virtual dedicated server, in which the server is divided into the smaller servers, right? And these smaller servers are basically used to provide the web hosting services to the user. The third one is the reseller hosting, in which the customer purchases the web hosting, and again this customer resells the web hosting services to the other customers. Next one, that is the dedicated hosting. In case of dedicated hosting, the user or client gets the total control over the server except the hardware. Then it is basically the managed hosting, in which the managed hosting, the user client does not have total control over the entire server, right? Then the last one, that is called as a grid hosting. In case of the grid hosting, it basically targets the stability and flexibility by sharing the resources onto the number of various servers, and these servers can be added or removed as per the requirement, right? So these are the different types of web hosting. Now the next one, that is a virtual host. On the internet, the virtual hosting is the provision of the web server, right, in which the virtual host permits the one server to share its resources in the form of storage and processing by providing the sum of its services to the similar host. The virtual host, we don't have to purchase, or we don't have to maintain this virtual host server. The virtual host server provider is sometime, it is also called as a web or internet space provider. Some companies provide this service, simply we call it as a hosting or virtual hosting. Typically, the virtual hosting provides a customer who wants a website with the domain name registration assistant, multiple domain names that map to the registered domain name. It also provides the allocation of the file storage and directory setup for the website files. Okay, so the virtual host basically is a type of hosting basically used in the reference to the web servers as well as other web, internet and online services. Additionally, the website creation, it also provides the website creation services. The virtual hosting user needs to have only the file transfer protocol, right? This program basically it is required for the exchanging the files between the virtual servers, right? The virtual host is the method of the hosting multiple domain names and executing more than one website with the separate handling of each domain name. This type of hosting is basically used in the reference to the web server as well as the web or internet or online services. It has been shown here in the figure that there are three websites: www.virtualhost1.com, virtualhost2.com and virtualhost3.com, and these three different websites are hosted on a single DNS, domain name server, and this DNS server is connected to the web server and it is lined with the virtual host target1 folder virtual host 2 target folder and virtual host 3 target folder respectively. Virtual host basically permits one server to share its resources in the form of storage, right, by providing some of the services to similar host name. And this type of hosting is basically used in reference to the web server as well as the web, internet or online services. The shared web hosting is a cost effective as the dedicated web server, it provides a multiple hosting by multiple clients on a single web server. The other applicability is that it provides a facility to the single client who has the requirement of multiple names denoting the different services on the single hosting server. Three main types of the web hostings are being described over here. The first one, that is the name base. In this name base virtual hosting, the host name oriented accessibility by the client which saves the IP addresses and other related managing tasks on one condition, that functions the protocol must respond with the host name at a suitable time. Name based hosting. Then IP based virtual hosting, in which individual IP address oriented accessibility is required for the respective host names. Then the last one, that is the port based virtual hosting. In port based virtual hosting, the accessibility is rarely used due to the low user friendliness, right? So these are the different types of virtual hosting. Now friends, we will discuss the multi-homing. In multi-homing network, a host or interconnected network is connected to the multiple networks with an objective to improve the performance by effective routing towards the destination through the network and increase the reliability by routing through the alternative network when there is a failure of a particular link, right? So basically in this figure we have the network of different devices and multiple paths are there, right? And if there is any node has been encountered any problem, it looks for another path and the message will be delivered. So the multi-homing network having three network interfaces which consisting of different internet service provider, that is ISP1, ISP2 responding, which is required for requested destination in the internet. In multi-homing, a distinctive host or destination network is related to the single network. Multi-home host commonly allocated the multi-addresses with count of 1 per connected network. Device connectivity in it is such that a single host may be connected to the multiple networks to route the message to the destination, like desktop computer, in which the desktop computer system is concurrently connected to the home network, and the VPN, while the mobile phone or tablet is connected to the Wi-Fi network. Multiple different ISPs are part of multiple home networks, in which every ISPs allocate the single IP addresses or a range of IP addresses to the clients of an organization. Basically, the router uses BGP as a part of TCP/IP protocol, right? This TCP/IP protocol is used to route between the networks using different protocols. The Internal Border Gateway Protocol, IBGP, basically it is used at a domain side, and the External Border Gateway Protocol, EBGP, it is basically used to communicate with the different routers, and this provides individually using Border Gateway Protocol, right? This Border Gateway Protocol of TCP/IP is used to route among the networks using different protocols. So, in multi-homing, the distinctive host or destination network is basically related to the single network. A multi-home host is commonly allocated to the multi-addresses with the count of 1 per connected network. Device connectivity is a single in such a way that the single host may be connected to the multiple networks to route the message to the destination, like desktop computer system, and this is concurrently connected to the home network and VPN, while the mobile phone network is connected to the Wi-Fi network. So, the multiple different ISPs are a part of multi-home networks where every ISP is allocated to the single IP addresses or range of IP addresses to the client of organization. Router basically is used the BGP, right? Now, what is the document route? Basically, the document route is a directory structure. It is a one kind of directory structure which has been specified in the web server. It consists of the web server basically consists of several websites, right? And it maintains the directory of each and every websites, right? The document root is a host web server which possessing all the websites, and that also stores the files of hosted domain, add-on domain and subdomain also separately onto the different folders and directory, and this is known as document root. Since basically the cPanel permits a multiple domain and its interrelated domain, hence the document root solves the purpose of uniquely identified interrelated files. The storage pattern of domain on the web server is that the primary domain roots is in public underscore HTML directory. Its subdomain and add-on domains are rooted in its respective folder. Within public underscore HTML, the folder or directory as displayed in the figure. The entire document root can be found within cPanel, and it is to be found by single click over the subdomains as well as add domains and subdomains. The document folder is a unique for each and every domain. All the web pages and other related files of the website possessing the domain names are found in the document root. Document root can even be started as folder or directory that possesses almost all HTML files that serve the request and response of most of HTML files which are served in response to the request. Now this is all about document root. Now let us discuss what is cookie. Basically, the cookie is a file stored in the user's computer, and it contains the information about the access of the web browser. It is in the form of small text which are produced by the websites. The cookie can be stored temporarily for the internet session, or it can be stored permanently onto the hard disk. It also supports the user to keep the roadmap for his or her internet access activity. The web cookies can be disabled or enabled or installed additionally to record the internet information retrieval. The web cookies are files, and these are generally from the visited web pages, and these are stored on the user's computer. It stores the small amount of data, and it is specific to particular client and website. It maintains the status of web browser. The cookies which are stored, cookies can store the information like username and password and session token also. The cookie can be accessed either by server or a client computer system. It permits the web server to share the user's preferences. There are different types of web cookies such as session cookies. Right. Now, what is session cookies? As you can see, the online cart item information is stored only on the specific period of time, and once the web browser is closed, it gets the expired. This is called session cookie. Then the permanent cookie. These permanent cookies store the login ID and password to save the typing timing of the user. If the user has opted and information is stored permanently, right? So when the web browser is closed, even though this cookie information is stored. Then the last one, that is called as a third party cookies. These are installed by the third parties for collecting the certain information. It may be beneficial for the investigation, or it may be for hacking. Some parameter can be shared for the information retrieval are the web cookies. Name, value, expiration date, validity path, and validity of the domain. Now let us see what is ISP. We call it as a internet service provider, and what are the services of the ISPs. There are two types of website. The website which are to be designed using HTML and CSS, right, and these kind of websites are called as a static website. The content is always fixed in such kind of websites, while in case of dynamic website, the contents get changes over a time. For example, flight booking, right, railway reservation, you can get the actual updates of the seat reservation, right, and the status of the seats, right, booking. Okay, so such kind of websites are called as a dynamic website. You can design the website static, right, whenever you want to keep your content as a fixed, right, it will not be changed over a time, right, but in some cases you require some dynamic content. In that case, you have to design the dynamic website. In case of dynamic website, you can have different technologies to implement the dynamic website, that is Java server pages or JSP, Servlet, ASP.NET, right. So many alternatives are available with us. Now, there is a difference between the static website and dynamic website, that is the first one is the yes, as I told you that developing technology, which kind of technology we are using, right. In case of static website, are designed using HTML and CSS, the content is fixed, design is fixed, look and feel is also fixed. While in case of dynamic website, we have to use the PHP, ASP.NET, JavaScript or Servlets and JSP, right. So in both cases, you should have the knowledge about the designing the websites, right, because at present the contents are dynamic and everybody is now want to be this live content, right. Then theme and content, yes, in case of a dynamic website, it is changed over a time, while theme and content, it is fixed, right. Then we can see the browsing and loading. It is very slower because it has to fetch the data from the databases, right. So server has to send the request to the database server, and database server will process that request and send back to the web server, right. And dynamic content is also generating in this case, right. So that's why this dynamic website is slower than as compared to the static website, right. While in case of static website, it is speedy because it does not require any request to the web server, right. Only the web pages which is fixed, right, it is to be displayed to the client. Website content updates, right. Here dynamic websites are automatically get updated according to the requirement of the users and timely manner, while the static website is yes, the content remains fixed, right. The most common URL extensions of the dynamic website is .php, ASP or JSP. As I told you, according to the technologies the website have been implemented, the web page is having such kind of extension, right. In case of static website, .html files are there, right. You can see the utility, yes, frequent changes. If there is a frequent changes in the content, in that case the dynamic websites are used, while there is very less frequent changes in the website in case of static website. Then coding, yes, definitely we need to have some kind of complex coding in case of dynamic website, while in case of static website there is so many tools available with us which allows you to design a static websites, right. While in case of dynamic website, you have to specify the logic, right, business logic is to be implemented. Then web hosting with the database support, yes, this dynamic website has to be require the database support because the contents and data are continuously changing, right. So it has to be get connected with the database, while in case of static website, database support is not necessarily required, right. Then interactivity, good in case of dynamic website, good user can view and use the content, because the documents and contents are dynamic, right? So it is more interactive, right? And the users and peoples are always be interested in the interactive websites only, right? Sharing the elements. One of the criteria for comparing these two dynamic and static website is easy to share, right? Between the HTML code can be easily shareable, right? While in case of the static, we have to just duplicate the HTML documents, right? In some registration forms are similar in many of the websites. We can directly get we can have a copy of that static web pages. We don't need to require designing of these pages again and again, right? So one should have the dynamic and knowledge of dynamic content and the static content. So in this lecture we have completed the unit 2 of block 1. Thank you so much.